Well, hello, we're back. It's Football Manager, it's the FM23 beta, and once again, because I don't have any original ideas, I'm managing Chelsea. Now, if you are new to the channel, welcome. All the series on the channel this year will be in a fully post-recorded style, which means episode 1 here will cover the entire first half of the season, or at least up until I'm sacked, which is quite likely because this is Chelsea we're talking about. I mean, find me another football club where the owner is forced to sell because of government sanctions after an invasion. Yes, Roman Abramovich is gone and now Todd Burley and Clear Lake Capital are in charge, and after letting him spend £200 million, they still sacked Thomas Tuchel after 7 games. So yeah, no pressure. As we nudge a slightly baffled Graham Potter to the curb, it's time to get to work. Todd informs me the new ownership are really keen on youth development and also really keen on making money, which to be honest is pretty much the ultimate FM dream really. He only wants to qualify for the Champions League this year, which isn't too unrealistic, although he apparently wants to win the thing next season, so even if I wasn't planning on this being a 2-season thing, it probably will be anyway. Now tactically I have a setup I like, and I'm not one for change. 4-3-3 with high tempo, fluid football please. If it doesn't work, we'll tinker. There's some fancy new out of possession things that may come in handy, but I'll leave them for now. The squad underwent a lot of upheaval over the summer, and I think we are actually fairly well stocked according to the fancy new squad planner, save for probably the forward areas. I think a striker would be nice, but we do have Romelu Lukaku out on loan, while I would like another winger. There's actually a pretty perfect guy called Callum Hudson-Odoi. Unfortunately, for some reason, he's been loaned to Bayer Leverkusen. In any case, we only have 13 million to spend, so I think maybe a loan. Like, do we really want Kai Havertz as a striker? I mean, to be fair, he actually looks really good. That's quite a generous upgrade. Player power is obviously very important on FM, and I'm pleased to report I survived the first team meeting okay, and the first press conference. So we've already done better than Liz Truss. Although we do literally lose our first FM23 game in a friendly with Bristol City, so maybe not. A signing could help, and I eventually settle on Marco Asensio on loan from PSG. He literally just joined them from Real Madrid, but they're absolutely fine with us just having him on loan for the season, because why not? Hakim Ziyech is our only left-footed winger, and Asensio is much better from a goal-scoring perspective, so I think this is very good business. We have a £30 million option if he's a success. As we reach the opening day of the season, we find ourselves in 3rd in the media prediction thing, which I take right now to be honest, especially as we have a tricky opening with Spurs and then Erling Haaland. This new thing informs me a win is expected against Spurs, so really no pressure at all right out the gate, especially as this is the opening Friday night kickoff as well. After some questionable pre-season games, I tweak the fancy new tactical things to have us shuffle players out wide when defending and settle on an initial lineup of Mendy in goal, Chilwell, Koulibaly, Fofana and James, although he is injured today, so Azpilicueta plays, with Jorginho, Kante and Mount in midfield. Sterling is on the left, with Ziyech on the right over Asensio for now, and we'll give Havertz a go up front. I can't pretend I wouldn't have rather played Bournemouth first, but here we are. An early goal is always good, and what more can you ask for when 25 minutes in, our first highlight sees Ziyech's free kick nodded in by Koulibaly on his debut. We absolutely dominate the first half, and a panicked Spurs defence knocked the ball into Son, allowing Jorginho in to rifle home a second. Some excellent play on the left from Sterling has Spurs all at sea, and the ball comes to Kante to unleash a wonder strike for 3, before Fofana makes it 2 debut centre-back goals with this effort. After the break he secures himself a debut brace, and then there's time for Jorginho to pick out Havertz, whose turn, touch, composure and finish bode extremely well for the rest of the season. Son does score an excellent goal for Spurs shortly after, but it's a mere consolation as we ran out 6-1 winners on the first day of the season against perhaps our bitterest rivals. I mean, I've had worse starts to a new FM. Might as well just end it here really, I can't see it improving, especially with Man City next. Erling Haaland only managed the 4 goals on his debut against Newcastle. Pathetic really. Ugh, I take your point. Forgive me if I don't record this one. And yeah, from one extreme to another, pretty abject. Edouard Mendy chooses now to ask for a new contract, which I'd say is questionable. I managed to get him to drop it for the time being, which hopefully he won't do with the ball against Aston Villa. Yeah, he's not exactly amazing. I mean, how we lost, I don't know. Their only shots on target were their goals, both penalties moronically given away, the amount of chances we missed, the amount of absurdly heavy touches and just weird decision making. It is the beta, I suppose. Oh, and we had a perfectly good goal ruled out by VAR for some alleged infringement. We follow this up by scraping a 1-1 with Brighton, I'll be sacked earlier than Tuchel at this rate. Hopefully the Spurs win built up a bit of credit with the board. Things don't get any easier as the fancy new official Champions League draw hands us Bayern Munich, fake Napoli and Monaco. Thanks! It looks really nice though. Can we just do the whole thing again maybe? Was that the practice one? We end the month with Leeds. I'm not saying that 5 games in we need a win to avoid a chat with the board, but I think a win would avoid a chat with the board. I mean, I like Todd, he seems nice, but best not to upset him so soon. And thankfully, we do win. The players all actually play like human professionals. Some lovely moves for the goals. Mount, Kante and Havertz were brilliant, and Mendy made some great saves. Maybe we'll talk about that contract after all. Our first clean sheet and first away win. We kick off September with Wesley Fofana being given Young Player of the Month for August. He has made several mistakes, but he's been good otherwise, not least the 3 goals. With the World Cup approaching, the games come thick and fast. Arsenal are next, 3 points better off than us. All I ask for is consistency. We get an early corner and Hakim Ziyech flicks it in for Fofana to head home his 4th of the season already. The perfect start, and things nearly get even better as Sterling picks out Havertz, who sees his effort agonisingly bounce back off the bar. That would have put us in control, and then typically we gift Arsenal an equaliser as Martinelli's effort is deflected in from Fofana. Havertz gets injured, so I call for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Surely if anything is scripted in this game, it's a goal for him. And sure enough, Mount finds him, but his shot goes wide. We've dominated again, at least we're not losing, but still. In injury time we come forwards and Asensio's pass is wayward, but Aubameyang isn't done. He mugs off Gabriel and calmly slots home the winner against his former club, 2-1 at the death. That's what I'm talking about. We kick off our Champions League campaign against fake Napoli and I try to fully rotate. Unfortunately, Christian Pulisic is on international duty for some reason and half the squad played for the under-21s yesterday, even though they were already picked for this. This goes about as well as you would expect. Exciting though, Armando Broja gets his first goal at least. I find Trevor Chalobah for his shocking display and apparently he thinks it was quite good actually. Not sure I agree, Trevor. We face Fulham and that consistency I want is just not coming. A great goal from Aubameyang and then Fulham equalise with their only real highlight. Both our goalkeepers so far just sort of flap at virtually every shot. We definitely seem defensively shaky as well. Reece James has been injured, which hasn't helped. For the trip to Bayern, I make some slight adjustments. We'll press slightly less, sit slightly deeper, and I'm going to switch Kante and Jorginho's positions around. I think it might give us a bit more stability. We get the fancy new licensed graphics and official Champions League music, all very nice. I'm hopeful of a nice performance as well. We're 3-0 down by half time. Awful. It's a good job Fofana scores from corners because let me tell you, he really can't defend sometimes. It ends 4-1. We end the month with a 1-1 draw with Leicester. Clearly, tactically things aren't going amazingly, but it feels like we're just horrendously not clinical, while basically every goal we do concede is an individual mistake. It's October and we're in 8th and I'm tactically more than tweaking. We face Everton and I've switched to 3 at the back. And then when they go down to 10 men, I switch back to the regular one to go for the kill, and this time Aubameyang can't do anything. 0-0. The board is still not unhappy, but surely it's only time. I think I have to accept that the tactical approach that's served me well for so long now has probably reached its limit, but I'll give it one more try. Our Champions League campaign is basically dead anyway, and we beat Monaco 2-0 with no real issues, so you know what that means. We're using it against Brentford. If we can just stop being bad at scoring and stop being bad at defending, I think this will actually be fine. We totally dominate the game against the Bees from minute 1, pouring forwards with chance after chance, but just not that clinical edge. We do eventually win a penalty though, and Jorginho converts it. Brentford haven't had a shot, but we can't finish most of ours. Havertz's latest baffling miss right here. I'm having Torres flashbacks. Things are complicated as Sterling decides to go in two-footed from behind, which, yeah, isn't a good idea, but we seal the much needed win as Ziyech finds Havertz, who this time fires home. 2-0 again. Dare I say 3 in a row? Yep. Monaco flattened. 2-0 yet again. Put down that eulogy, son. There's life in the old 4-3-3 yet. It also sets up a massive clash with Bayern to move into the second qualification spot. Back in the Premier League, a win over last place Bournemouth could see us in the Champions League spots, and a win we get. We do go to 4th, and that's 5 straight clean sheets. I suppose the key thing was just training and practice, and fines, lots of fines. I have changed trap outside to trap inside as well, which seems better. Whatever else happens, we have outlasted Tuchel and indeed Antonio Conte and Erik ten Hag. Wolves are next in the way of the winning streak. Things start well as a bit of a scramble is nodded in by Havertz, before a now typical effort from Fofana from a set piece. Mount and Havertz are really combining well, and the German is away for 3 before the break. In the second half, another strike from Kante makes it surely safe, but not before an appearance from Diego Costa. And with Wolves a man down, Mount finds Havertz again, whose Thunderbolt secures a well-deserved hat-trick. 5-0. 5 wins in a row, and make that 6 as we come from behind away at West Ham to win 3-1. It's all started going too well, so here's Bayern Munich. But well, we take the lead with Fofana early on, they equalise, but we take the lead again from Havertz, they equalise again, but once again we hold firm, stay strong and take the lead yet again through Havertz. Musiala gets an early bath and we hold on for another win. And to think, I was writing us off, we'll definitely be in the knockouts of something. We end what's been a mammoth and frankly amazing month with Crystal Palace, who sit 6th after a cracking start themselves, but they're still no match for us. Sterling finally nets his first goal in a 3-1 win. We go 3rd ahead of fellow surprise package Southampton. Manchester United are 17th by the way, and we finally make it to a B with the board. October was a season-defining month. Kai Havertz is most definitely a striker on FM23, and that's fine by me. 6 in 6 gets him Player of the Month. Fofana gets a 2nd Young Player of the Month. We have to settle for 2nd in Manager of the Month. We conclude our Champions League group with fake Napoli. We need to better Bayern's result to progress, but the first 11 are all knackered, so I have to rotate. And yeah, the winning run ends. And as Bayern win, we finish in 3rd. That was probably really stupid, but I couldn't risk a serious long-term injury to one of the main guys. I have a good track record in the Europa League anyway, and oh, this doesn't look good. Yeah, Todd, look, listen, did you see that group we had? Also, do you know how cool the Europa League is? If anything, it's more important. And then there's always next season. Oh, phew, thank God for that. We face early European chasers Southampton, and it's a frustrating 1-1 draw. We hit the woodwork 3 times and concede through an individual error. I thought we'd move past this. Anyway, we get a glamour tie with Ferencvaros in the Europa knockouts. I don't know what Todd is upset about. Or Jorginho really, as he decides to probably leave on a free. He's played loads and played well, so that's really annoying. And then we get dumped out of the Carabao Cup by Preston. Can we go back to October? That was better. Our final match before the World Cup is, league leaders Liverpool at Anfield. Even the board expect us to lose this. Let's keep it respectable. Liverpool are pretty dominant, but not as much as Man City earlier in the season. They do find the breakthrough though with Alexander-Arnold firing home. But in the second half, we battle back and Mount grabs a deserved equaliser. And then as Liverpool can't find another goal, we casually go forwards and Sterling flicks it to Asensio to head us into a shock lead. I go defensive to secure a fantastic win, and then literally as the final second of injury time ticks over, Liverpool of course get a corner and Jota equalises. I'm glad I'm going to hate this game as much as the last one. I mean, if you'd offered me a draw before the match, I'd have taken it, but why does it have to be like that? We head to the World Cup in a respectable 4th place. And England go and win the World Cup, thanks to an injury time goal from Marcus Rashford, which would be nice. Chilwell, James, Sterling and Mount all play. The latter 3 get named in the team of the tournament. Wonderful to see 2 Cobham boys there. 2 other Cobham graduates are not happy though, in the form of Chalobah and Loftus-Cheek. They both played quite regularly, so I genuinely don't get their moaning. Dynamics this year seems to have been changed to be even worse. Hopefully it doesn't become too much of an issue. And in order to prevent another issue, I renew Kante's contract now with a whopping 65k a week pay cut for him. Thanks N'Golo. Anyway, we have 2 final Premier League games to end 2022. Newcastle go down 4-1 thanks to a first half blitz, and then we face a struggling Manchester United, who we of course lose to despite Mendy saving 2 penalties. A frustrating ending, but only our 3rd league defeat of the season, and we remain in 4th. Havertz, Fofana, Mount, Jorginho Bruno and Ziyech are the clear standouts so far in what has been a, let's say, decent start. The board aren't exactly thrilled, but at least we aren't in imminent danger. I think clearly we need to tweak something for away games, but we'll see what the end of the season brings. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.